Hi, I'm Bill Holcomb and welcome to this watercolor tutorial of palms in Hawaii. First we mix our paints in the wells. We have Windsor yellow at the top, then light red, then Windsor blue, then a darker version of Windsor blue which has a touch of light red, and then a more intense red which is light red with Scarlet Lake. I start with a mop brush with clear water, starting at the top of the paper, working our way down to that pencil line. Then, at the very top, clear Windsor blue, still using our mop brush, lots of wet in wet going on here. Then the intense red, fusing those two together. Then the next red, which is slightly orange, so you could have a little bit of yellow with that red if you wish. Then the yellow itself, going over the mountain range down to that pencil line. Then mop the bottom of that up where the pigment has cracked down, because remember our paper is at an angle to purposefully let things crack down. Dry that off with a hairdryer. Then the reverse process, start with the yellow to the waterline there, then the intense red, fusing the two together. Then our next red, slightly orange. And we come down to where the water meets the beach area for our Windsor blue. Once again, we will mop any edges, tissue or a very dry brush, and dry that off with a hairdryer. Here I'm just doing a little bit of fusing in with a dryish brush, no pigment on it, blending it all together. Dry it off so we can do the mountain range. We can use a 10 or 12 size brush, lay down some water. Doesn't matter if there's a little bit of hint of blue on that brush, because it's going to be blue anyway. Start at the top, work down towards that pencil line. Now, once we've done that, leave it wet, and we go to a smaller brush. You could use a 4 or 5, something like that. And we've got that intense blue, as you can see me taking it from the palette. Letting that fuse in, start at the top of the range, up to that pencil area, and let it slowly creep down. Once again, it creeps down because we've got our paper on a board at an angle, about 25-30 degrees slope, to purposefully let the pigment creep down. That way we avoid pooling of the paints and creep back, etc. All the way down. And whilst wet, we will start again at the top, making it more intense at the top and coming down. So you will see a nice contrast of light and dark at the top of that mountain area. Try that off, And now with a flat brush we can do some lifting where the water meets the base of that mountain range, a far side beach, and we just go along that line with some clear water, flat brush, and then use a tissue to lift. This is very effective. Softens the transition. I'm sure you will agree that looks much more convincing. And I'm mixing up some green colour, and I've got a sandy colour which could be yellow ochre for the beach area, and various sandy, duney area that I'm painting in there and fusing in a little bit to the blue. And that's fine because where that water has come up to the beach, under it would be some hint of sand. So that coloration will work. Then we start with yellow and sap green, using a flat brush still. Just a half size will do. With flat brushes you maintain more control. That's why I use them for certain things. And then go into your more intense green. Let that fuse together. And get darker still. So light to dark. Now that's dried off, and I'm using the side of the brush scraping technique for the grassy bank area. And using that flat brush enables me to show various grasses and stems and so forth. Now for the distance there on the water, using a flat brush. Very light in terms of a little bit of blue and dark blue, but very light touch. So those lines are not thick. Mixing up some brown so that we can do the trunks of the palm trees. I appreciate they're a mixture of browny grey colours, and this will work. So trunks first of all. Now of course for the video purposes I've kept the paper taped at the very bottom so it doesn't move around, but when you're doing this at home you wouldn't have to do that. You can twist the paper around when doing details like this. Not of course for the wet in wet, but certainly for details such as the trees. As always, start with our light greens, and you can use something like a 4-brush at this stage. And this is a demonstration, so I'm not going to meticulously paint those palms, but just enough to tell a story. And of course, there are all manner of types of palm trees. So you can choose which ones you wish in your painting, your version of this painting. This is teaching you technique, as in all my tutorials. Technique which you can then apply to your own masterpieces, your versions of different paintings. You can apply it to different scenery, etc., different locations, by following these techniques. Darken it up a little bit in the middle there of the palms. So same again on the one on the right. That lighter wash is mostly dried, and then going into the darker. Just stringing that out, showing lines from the paintbrush. Once again, darkening the central area and pulling out those palms. I have done a number of paintings in Hawaii. You can see them on my various websites. I'm just using a soft eraser to take out that line that I had as a guide where the ocean comes up onto the beach area. And as you can see, I can use a tissue to dab off pigment to make sure it's not excessive. A few ripples here and there to make it even more convincing as to movement on the water up to the beach area. On this occasion, I've also gone to a flat brush to add some more intensity to the palm trees. We're nearly completed, and what we'll be doing is we've painted a few little birds in the sky, and then add your signature. And there we have a completed beginner's tutorial. I hope you will have a go at that one. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.